Hello, my name is Triin, and I am very grateful that you have taken the time today to get to know Uku and the software and the product a little bit better. So what or who is Uku? Uku is an accounting practice management software that is crafted for accounting firms. Uku is used in over 25 countries worldwide by over 5,000 accountants on a daily basis. Today, I'm going to walk you through some of the possibilities that Uku has to offer and share my experiences on how other firms have taken the advantage of a well-functioning back-office tool. Some notes before we start. Uku is highly customizable. Probably everything you're going to see today can be tailored to your needs. Secondly, Uku can be described as still waters run steep, which in the context of software means that even though it looks very clean and beautiful, does not mean that it doesn't have the depth. And for everybody interested in learning more about Uku, there will be an opportunity that I'm going to share at the end of this video to book an hour-long one-on-one consultation with one of Uku's experts to discuss your firm's challenges and see if there is a fit with the software. So first, what we are going to look at is Uku's concept. So even though Uku is just one software, it means that it consists many different parts and products. And the first we are going to look at is actually the clients. So if you imagine a clockwork has this one center wheel that turns everything else around, then in Uku it is your clients. If you can actually group clients into different client groups and use it for reporting and monitoring afterwards. So one client can belong to many different groups. It can have one primary member and multiple assignees to the clients. Now, if we go and drill down into the client, one of the most important thing in the client is this overview tab. And in the overview tab, you actually have very basic information about the client, like company name and the language and when is the financial year end. But also on the left-hand side, you can have the contacts of the client. You can add custom fields to contacts, like what is the preferred gift for the client, who prefers a box of chocolate, who likes a champagne, etc. And also you can keep information like additional information, tax ID, legal structure, also the systems that are used in this client and who has access to those systems as well. And why we have done it is actually that you can get rid of one of the Excels. So I have seen in my practice a lot of Excel sheets that companies keep about the client. So who has access to which softwares, which accounts are in use, and general information. And this left-hand side, all these blocks and fields can be created and tailored to your needs. So these are just one of my examples here that you can see, but you can create your own. And this is not just informative. You can actually use this information on the left-hand side to run searches in the client list. For example, if you want to find clients who use QuickBooks software, then you can choose accounting, QuickBooks, and search these clients, and I have a list of 5 clients. Now, this becomes really useful if you have a client joining that uses a particular software and you want to drill down to which employee this client could potentially belong to. And as I can see, Cindy is mostly using QuickBooks software, so perhaps she has some space or she has some capacity to take on new clients. So now I will go and speak with Cindy. Now, on the left-hand side, you only cannot find the information, but you can also, to the left-hand side, you can add these blocks, but to the right-hand side, you can actually add information in a more loose format. So you can add here documents, contracts, templates, how you do things with the client, where do you keep documents, you can link your back office stuff into the client profile. And the meaning of this profile really is that if somebody needs to take over the client because of absence, because of sickness, whatever reason, then you would really only have to direct this client profile to this person, and they should get all the necessary information to maintain the quality of the service that the client is used to getting from your firm. Now, this overview tab is not the only one that gives information about the client. Actually, the backbone of Uku's functionality is coming from the client task plan. And the client task plan is basically, in a nutshell, a list of tasks and activities that you have taken a contractual responsibility of in front of your client. So every 2 weeks on Wednesday, you have to review and follow up on past due accounts. Monthly, on the 3rd day, you have to enter payroll. Quarterly, you have to close the accounts receivable. And yearly, you have to also perform a particular list of tasks. then on the client list, on this task plan list, you actually can already dedicate particular tasks to particular people. You can also make dependencies, so one task cannot start before the other one is finished. But not to go too deeply into this workflow management, because this is a basic functionality I think that everybody has. But what sets Uku really apart is that you can make very specific deadlines, and I will give you an example. So the due date of a task does not have to be a calendar date. It can also be on a plus day rule, meaning that if you have this task starting on day 1 and you have to enter the payroll by the 7th working day of each month, then you can actually choose that, whether you want the count to start from the beginning of the month, from the start date of the start date, and whether you want to include holidays or exclude holidays. And the due date will be dynamically played around each month. So this is really cool and very popular feature amongst a lot of accountants. But also you can automate emails in the task plan. So you can set that Uku will send an automated email to the client X amount of days before, after, or on the start date, due date, or the finishing date. And in this case, we have this set up so that 2 days before the task starts, so on the second calendar date of each month, an email will go out to the client, including placeholders. So it's really personalized, and but you can use it from a template and send it out in bulk. So it feels really customized, and but it's actually a system sending it out, so you're not losing the touch with your clients. Not to stop here for too long, but to give you a context, then all the plans can be made from templates. So you have your company templates that you can take as a basis and then customize them for each client, that it really reflects their agreements and their ways of working. And if you have any things like checklists, you can actually drag and drop them around, so you make sure that this procedure is actually followed to confirm these clients' accounts. From the client task plans, but not only task plans, but each client can also have a project. So if a task plan is something that recurs on a regular basis, then project is something that is one-off. And in this instance, we have a loan application process that I have set for this client, and it also includes particular tasks. I can also see that these tasks might have a checklist inside of them, and they are also depending on whether the project is active, done, in progress, etc. And I can have these projects on a client based, but I can also have an overview of all the projects that I have ongoing on my house, about onboarding, loan application, company liquidation. I think one of the most popular projects are client onboardings, employee onboardings and offboardings, as well as some audit projects, and perhaps even company liquidation or company registration processes. And you can have this visual overview of how far something is. And if something is not done, you can actually see what or who is blocking it, and when was the due date or when the next due date is. So from projects and from clients' task plans, what Uku really does, it combines you a daily to-do list in a form of a dashboard. So you will have your daily activity list. You can also view it in the calendar view, on a dashboard view. You can plan your work by dragging and dropping your tasks around. And this is where the work really happens. Now, when we talk about work, we often talk about time tracking, and time tracking can be done in Uku in 4 ways. So the first way is the most obvious one. It's with the stopwatch. So you just start the timer for a task when you start it. If you want to stop it in between, you can start and stop it as many times as you wish. If you need to switch, you can also switch. The previous one stops. Now, if you forgot to start the timer, there is also a way to enter the time manually. To do that, you have to open the task, open the timesheet, and enter the duration, for example, 30 minutes. Or if you want to enter the start date and the end date, it will calculate the duration itself. Or you can actually also choose a start date, for example, 5th of March at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 hour, okay. You can also mark the time entries as billable or not billable, comment the time entries if you need to leave some important information, why was the time entry not billable. Now, that was the second way of time tracking. So first was stopwatch, second was manual entry, third is actually also manual entry, but it's a little bit, I think it's one of the favorite amongst accountants. So it means that I can add add time to multiple tasks at once. So if you're going to pull in banks for many clients, you're going to complete the report for 4 clients, taking 1 hour. You can actually go and just tick those, for example, 3 tasks. You can add time, 1 hour. You can split the duration equally. So each of those tasks will get 20 minutes, and you can mark it as done as well straight away. Fourth way of time tracking is when you're working on a document, for example, paying vendors and bills. You can also have a checklist inside the task, a description. You can leave comments to your other colleagues, etc. But we're talking about time tracking here, so let's not get sidetracked. Working on a task, I get a phone call, email titled urgent, urgent, urgent. What am I going to do? I'm going to play around with a magic button. And a magic button in Ukko is a task that you can open up and start time tracking for with 1 click. So I'm going to make 1 click on a phone call. I have a new task. I will have to choose the client that called me. On some instance, I also have to choose the topic. For example, it was consultancy. And once the phone call is finished, I will mark it as done, and I can continue with the last task that I was working on. So that was the 4th way of time tracking. Now let's see how you can best manage your work in Ukko. So there are a few ways to look at your dashboard or your calendar, but it's quite popular to do it by grouping the tasks either by clients. I will look at this month, for example. I have a lot of tasks for this month, for this client, that client. So I can group the tasks by client or by topic. So I can better manage my work in a way that I want. And you can also save those views as your default. Now, if we look at the dashboard, then there is also a possibility that if somebody falls in sick, you can take a look at other person's dashboard. So I can open up, for example, Sarah Wilson, and I can see what she has in hand. And if I want to delegate some tasks away, I can easily delegate them to Robert or myself, and those tasks will be now on 2 people's dashboard. So when Sarah comes back, she will also see the tasks that are in progress. What is also a really cool functionality is that if you, for example, want to delegate the task to a group of people that have some skill that could help on doing the work, then I can just add a new task, please do, and I can add either a group of people or just select the people who can do it. You can also add the member groups here, an advisory, for example. Now we'll add it to the dashboard, and whoever has the time can open the task and say, I will take it. And what happens if I take it is that 2 other people will move into the following mode, meaning that this task will not be on their dashboard anymore. But if they open up this filter, I follow, they will still be able to see the task that they are following. So what I'm trying to say here is that there are many opportunities and possibilities that you can use with filters. You can see the tasks that you have delegated, that have been delegated to you, etc., etc. So, but the second thing that you can do on the dashboard is actually communicate with your client. So not only send automated emails, but actually communicate with your client. And that can be done via client portal. And you can add the task that you want to send to a client via portal already to a task plan. For example, requesting for missing documents. It's often so that the client has the same documents from month to month that are missing every time that you need to check. So what you can do is you can assign this task to a client. A client will get an email that they have been assigned the task, and they can open this client portal and they see, okay, missing documents. They will drag and drop the documents into the task. They say that, okay, I have completed those documents. And what happens, they also mark the task as done. What happens is accountant will get the notification that James has finished the task. Accountant can open the task, download all the documents that have been sent to her, or send them to digitization. And in this instance, I'm sending them to QuickBooks. Now, if the client also wants to ask something, request any information, the client can also put up new requests via the portal. Request. Just saying hi. Now, what happens is the accountant will get the new request on their dashboard, also to the notification, and you can respond to the client, hi. The client will now also get a notification that Cindy has replied hi. It's not only a communication between yourself and the client, or an accountant and the client, but you can also leave internal comments here. So if you're struggling with this new request, just saying hi, you can attach your client Robert Martinez to this task and say, Robert, I need your help on this. And you can leave internal comments. You can have a chat between yourself and the client. Of course, won't see it. And if you want somebody to review a message before sending it out to the client, you will just add it as an internal comment. And when you want to publish it out, then add it as a regular comment. So that being said, when you are working on your tasks, you can also bulk mark them as done. If you want to push them forward, you can say that I will do them, for example, tomorrow. Now I mark them all as extra work, but I will do them later this week. So what happens then, at the end of the day, the sun comes out. If you're finished all your tasks, the sun is out. If there is a new day tomorrow, new challenges waiting ahead. Now we have been talking about this client overview, the plan, and the daily tracking of work. But how it really comes together is in the reporting. So the reporting actually gives you an overview what and how much has been done and by whom. We're going to look at this last quarter review, and here I can actually see also what was the work volume and what was the amount of time that was done for the client. Uku reporting has 4 different views. The first one is a summary view. So imagine like you're riding on a helicopter, flying over your lands, looking at the bigger picture, like this pond is here, this pond is there are swans, this and there. This is Uku summary report. So if you open up, you can add different groupings. If you open up, you can see, okay, during this period of time, for this client, we invested in bookkeeping 65 hours, in payroll 54 hours, in year-end activities 4 hours, and month-end closing procedures 10 hours. And you can drill each client down service line by service line. Not only, you can also open the tasks, so you can see all the tasks that were done for all the clients during this period. You can also see which person did which part of the job. So we can clearly see that Robert Martinez is very good at bookkeeping, but not so much doing payroll, whereas Sarah is equally good at payroll and bookkeeping. Also, you can see which clients took most of the time for employees. Now, the second view is that you can have a tasks view, and the tasks view really gives you an overview of all the tasks that have been done during this period in your accounting practice, in your accounting firm. And this one really starts giving you answers when you start asking questions from it. For example, show me one client, only I want to clear out some fields, maybe user extra work, maybe start date, due date, and status I want to keep. So I'm going to clear out the columns, and I can export this report into PDF or Excel. So this is a perfect service evidence that you can attach with an invoice to your client. What was done, how much was done, what extra work was done for the client, etc. Now also this last view is time view, and I think this is best explained when coming from an accountant perspective, meaning that if I open this calendar view, I can see these little gray numbers here. And these little gray numbers indicate how much working time I have tracked on this day. And if I click on this gray number, I actually get the daily overview of my time tracking. And I can see there are some holes in the day, so this means there's a missing time entry. If it's a lunchtime, it's okay to have it. But if I, for example, look at this week, there are lots of holes in the days, there are overlapping time entries. So what we have been focusing in Uku is increasing the data quality. So this is why we have created so many options for time tracking. Why we are giving instant feedback of your time tracking habits. So if you think that this 5-minute call, this 10-minute call doesn't really matter, it does matter. If you have good data quality, you can make smart and educated business decisions on that. If you don't have the data or it's bad quality, it's very hard to make any decisions. So this is why we have these different views, different reports for managers, for accountants, so everyone is disciplined and eager to do their best. So there are some other views that we can use in reporting. For example, we can have an overview of the yearly reports, meaning that if I look at the clients, I can have a full overview of all the yearly reports for this year, for last year. And how it works is that I have a task that includes this here. So I have a task that has all these different steps lined out, and these are again yours to create. And what that accountant has to do is choose the status that the task is currently in, and you get this full overview of all the tasks and all the financial summaries for last year. All work last month, you can look at all the work that has been done, time entries that have been marked as billable, not billable, extra work or total. So I didn't mention that, but each task can be marked with a tag called extra work. And it comes out in this report as this orange bit. And this means that if the work is out of scope for the client, an accountant can easily mark it with extra work. So it means that this is out of scope for me. I'm not sure if it's agreed upon. And from a manager's perspective, what you can do is take it into account when negotiating terms with the client, confirming on price agreements, or changing the pricing strategy. About pricing strategy, Uko also has this billing functionality inside of it, which is a best way to automate your billing process and actually earn more profits. Before we dig into that, I'm going to show you a monitoring report that is a bit different kind of report from here, but it comes from the agreements you make with the clients. So with each client, you can state how many hours you have agreed. If you're on a fixed price, then it's very important that you at least track the hours that you're investing into the client to make sure that this client is profitable. But also, if you're using hourly based strategy and your client is like, okay, you can spend as many hours as you want, as you need, but if you go over about 20, please give me a heads up. So what you do is actually you mark it into the client profile. So you add this monitoring, this total hours, plus minus extra hours. You can also include the volume of work in terms of sales invoices and purchase invoices. And this monitoring report really shows you how much was the agreed hours and what was the actual hours that were put into this client. And if everything is in line, then this status is green. If something is over the agreed amount, for example, this extra hours, this becomes red. But if something is seriously below the agreed volume, then it becomes orange. So you have this colorful, systematic way of checking if your client agreements are in scope or not. But without further ado, I'm very excited to show you one of the last parts of Uko, but this is, I think, one of the most interesting and important parts of Uko, which is called billing. And in billing, you can have different contracts for clients. How it all starts to be is that you have your company master products. So these are the services, these are the activities that we are willing to do for our clients. And from these master products, you create master contracts. And from these master contracts, as I said, everything is template, everything is customizable. You can add these master templates to clients. And here I also have different templates, actually one, but never mind. But in this particular client contract, I can see that I have a package fee, which is a fixed price fee, for $2,000 euros a month. And then on top of that, I have something called out of scope or extra work. And if I look at payroll processing, I have this up to 50 payrolls are included in the package price. But if it goes over 50, then I have them as price per piece. Now the same goes to bookkeeping extra work. So all the normal hours that I track for bookkeeping are included in the package fee. But if there are any extra hours, this orange bit that I just showed you, then this one gets charged extra for 150 an hour. And also business advisory is total hours. So these are coming from these topics. So topics are also very important in Uko. Also audit and consultation are for extra rates. And what Uko does actually collects all the information, what you have feed into it, and creates an invoice based on it. So if we look at the invoice, I can see that this advanced package is on the invoice. Payroll out of scope, actually 45 pieces, it's sum zero. I can take these 0 row sums out as well if I want to, but I just kept them in to show you this time. Bookkeeping extra work, business advisory, audit and consultation. Now this payroll comes from client task custom field. So I can create task custom fields. So just like this procedure one was. And if I go to this record and issue payroll, I know that up to 50 was included in the price, yes. But if I add 51, what should happen is that 15 euros, dollars, pounds extra should come to the invoice, yeah? Let's see if it actually happens. I open billing, I open invoices. I see that this payroll out of scope, one piece, €15, $15, 15 pounds. Now, if I add more to that, I can also have different tasks for different payroll. If I add 55, now it's 5 out of scope. Let's see if it updates. I open this and I have 5 pieces, one piece, 15, and total sum 75. Now the value really comes when you can actually approve and create all the invoices in bulk. So if I look at this month's invoices, I have already created them, but the procedure goes so I can edit and amend the invoices as I please, of course, but I will just choose the invoices, create the invoice, and now from these created invoices, I can either send them out straight from Uku to client email as PDF. I can export them to my accounting software. You can see the list of integrations that we have from our homepage. And when I have sent or exported the invoices, I actually get statuses of the invoices as well. So if I open this client invoices, I can see that the January invoice is paid, February is just created, and March is created as well. And I have one yearly contract as well, which has been already created because we have completed the year-end accounts already. So even though I have this yearly contract, I can close it anytime if the work has been done for the client and the invoice is calculated. We have one more report that I didn't touch, but I think I should. It's called Flex Time report. And Flex Time is a bit of Scandinavian approach that you are tracking the hours that you're doing, and if you do more hours, you can take it out as free time. And in Uku, we have created this in a form of Flex Time report. So you can see here how many hours you had agreed for this particular week. It can be weekly or monthly, and how many hours you have tracked. And then you can choose how much of it you want to accept. You can say that I want to accept 3 hours. You can write a comment why you only accepted 3 hours of this balance. But what it really does, it creates each employee, each individual, their own personal vacations, absences, flex time bonus dashboard. So if you're working overtime, you can request, for example, some time off from this flex time bonus. Also, you can request holidays from here. And what it does, it creates a piece of information in the calendar view that I can see that Cindy Carson has been on a sick leave here during these 3 days, she's on a holiday, etc. So I can really use this information as well. But to get more acquainted with Uku, then I would really recommend to look into settings and apps. In Uku, we have activated you the basic functionality. So this is tasks, clients, and also mini Uku you can activate yourself. Mini Uku means that you don't have to spend time on this big Uku all the time, but you can open up your little helper tool, whatever browser you are using. So if I open up my mini Uku, I have all my tasks here, I have all my clients here, I can look at the client notes, etc. So I can really work with this information on a small window as well. And this same view works on the mobile, but what is very important is that if you're not used to time tracking, then this is a helpful tool, because if you start the timer, the little numbers appear on this owl's tummy. If you don't track time, the belly is all open, so it really gives you an indication that, okay, the timer is not running. If you start the timer, this also starts running. And you can add new tasks from here. Also, magic buttons are available here, etc. But coming back to my previous thought, then what I was about to say, that in Uku, you can really customize the software yourself. So if you want to add power-ups, if you want to take advantage of the automated billing, if you want to monitor your client agreements, if you want to create or send out automated emails, want to make templates in different languages, then you can activate the app and then it becomes available to you. If you want to use these magic buttons, you can create your own. You can define which magic buttons you want to see. If you want to use an AML block, you can activate that. Project, supplier, same. Client portal, same. And all the integrations are in the bottom. This means that if you open up Uku at first, it's very beautiful, simple, clean. It doesn't have any of the features that you don't need, but if you activate the power-ups, it has everything that you need. So I promised you a candy at the beginning of this call. And if you want to have a one-on-one consultation with us, focusing entirely on your business processes, please send us an email, uku@getuku.com with the title one-on-one consultation, and we'll book in a time with you. This doesn't make have any obligations, so you don't have to start using the software or anything like that. But just to give you some ideas how an online cloud software can automate your processes, and how you can take advantage as well of a well-functioning back office tool. Thank you very much. I wish you a wonderful day, evening, morning, whatever time you're listening to this, and I hope to speak with you soon. Thank you.